2. Grammar. Conditional sentences type 2. If I had the money, I would buy a car. I don't have the money, but if I had the money, this is what I would do. I would buy a car. Notice that this is one sentence and it consists of two parts. This is the if part, the if clause. If I had the money, and this is the main part, the main clause. I would buy a car. With if, we used the verb in the past simple. And in the main clause, we used would, or we can use could, plus a verb in the base form. Base form means no ing, no past simple, no s, nothing. When do we do this? In imaginary situations. Look, the man doesn't have the money. He is only imagining, that if he had the money, he would buy a nice car. You can also start with the main clause. I would buy a car. If I had the money, you can switch between the main clause and the if clause. If you don't start with if, you don't put a comma between the two clauses. If I were rich, I would buy a car. I would buy a car. Look, a verb in the past. Look. We're using were with I. Don't we use was with I? I was, he was, she was. Look, in imaginary situations, if you are imagining this, you use were with all personal pronouns. I were, you were, he were, she were, it were, okay? And when you give advice, you say, if I were you. When you say, if I were you, that means you're imagining yourself in someone else's situation. You will never be him and he will never be you. You're just imagining this. Use were. If I were you, I would take the bus. And we finished. Easy? Good. Now we move on to wishes. Use the word wish. I wish I had the money to buy a car. I don't have the money. I wish I had the money. Look, we're using wish the same way we did with if. Use wish, use a verb in the past. But be careful, that doesn't mean the sentence is in the past. Look, if he had the money, he would buy a car in the future. He wishes. If you say he, this is present simple, okay? This is past, this is present. Wish is a verb. I wish, you wish. He wishes he had the money to buy a car. In the future, he will buy that car. Okay? Now look. I wish I could buy a car. In the first sentence, we used wish with a verb in the past simple. In here, we used wish with could plus a verb in the base form. Okay, when do we do this and when do we do this? Why can't we say, I wish I bought a car, the past of buy? You do this if you wish for a situation to be different. The man doesn't have the money. That is his situation. Situation. In here, he wishes for himself to do something. To go and buy a car is something that you do, right? So if you wish for a situation to be different, you use the verb in the past. If you wish that you or someone else could do something, use could plus a verb in the base form. Let me give you another example. I wish I were tall. I am not tall, I am short. But I wish I were tall. I wish I were rich. I wish I spoke French. I don't speak French. This is my situation. I wish I spoke French so that I can travel to France. But when you wish for someone to do something, you say, I wish I could go to Dubai next summer. I wish I could go to Dubai. I wish I could visit my grandfather. Do you get that? Good. Now let's practice. Complete the dialogue with the correct form of the verbs in brackets. Debbie, I have a history project. A project is like a school assignment that requires that you do some research. What should I do? If I use the verb be, if I, you, like here, if I were you, I am giving you advice. If I were in your place, I would go, use would, down to the library. I did that. I went to the library, but I want some more information. I wish I, use have, an internet connection. She doesn't have internet connection. That's her situation. Use the verb in the past. I wish I had an internet connection, then I'd be able to find lots of things to write about. Doesn't Jane have an internet connection? Your friend Jane or your relative. No, unfortunately, she doesn't. She doesn't have internet connection. If she, we're using if, she had, the past of have, one, I would be, use the verb in the base form, I would be at her place right now, not talking to you. I wish I, use can, help you. This time, I wish I do something for you. I wish I could help you. Use could and then a verb, help, in the base form. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please share it with friends. I'll see you again next time, inshallah. Goodbye.